different sensitivities and nuances when it comes to Bitcoin, blockchain, distributed ledger. What is your view?
Yes, there are different sensitivities. I think that the starting point should be the proper understanding of what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is the invention in digital realm of something which can be transferred but not duplicated. In technical terms, somebody prefers to say which can be spent but not double spent. And this is a major breakthrough because there is nothing else in digital realm that has such characteristic. If you add the fact that Bitcoin is also scarce, well, what you have is the digital equivalent of gold. So this is what is really relevant about Bitcoin. Blockchain, well, with blockchain we usually identify in a very generic sense the technology behind Bitcoin. Actually, blockchain per se is just a sequential data list, which is an append-only structure, which is very poor because in a way it has been designed for not to be manipulated, but it's order of magnitude less efficient of, let's say, database technology. So now, is it possible to have just the technology behind Bitcoin without Bitcoin? Probably not. Probably not, because what is relevant about making this the equivalent of digital gold is the so-called decentralized consensus, that everybody agrees on who owns Bitcoin. And this kind of agreement can be reached because there are people doing some work to solve this problem, to achieve this result. And this work is rewarded with the issuance of new Bitcoin. So if you don't have an active digital asset to reward the miners, so the nodes validating Bitcoin transaction, who's going to do this work? And the answer usually is, oh, well, appointed validators, appointed validator officials. But these appointed validator officials will be much better off just using databases. Why should they use a blockchain at all? Because blockchain scales poorly and so on and so forth, has a lot of limitation. So there is some kind of misunderstanding. To the point that people are aware that it's basically not possible to have a blockchain without Bitcoin. So they talk about distributed ledger technology. Now, what is distributed ledger technology? It's hard to define, especially because for the time being it's a chimera. It doesn't exist yet. We have the Hyperledger fabric, the IBM fabric, the Corda fabric, the digital asset holding fabric. What they're trying to achieve is something that we will see in next year, how it works out, if it can be really applied to some business issues. I mean, probably it can be applied, but it's something different from Bitcoin blockchain, and especially it's probably something that could have been done before the invention of Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is out having the focus on this kind of shared ledger of shared data set.